In this video, I'll be going over 5 financial mistakes that most people make with their money. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Michael and welcome back to the Growth Mindset channel. So I know money may not be the key for happiness, but it definitely plays a role in happiness. And I do think that having a good control over finances will really help you down the road, especially if you invest correctly and use those gains to your advantage. And it will really change how you live your life in the future. In 5 years, you might be able to triple the amount of money you have, which will definitely change the lifestyle you could have. And so that's really critical to controlling how your future will turn out, and rather than living perhaps an average life where you're always paycheck to paycheck. First one I wanted to share with you guys is number 1, buying a new car. New cars depreciate incredibly fast, so fast that you can't really recoup the value that's being lost every single year. If you haven't heard or known already, if you buy a new car and once you drive it off the lot, it automatically loses thousands of dollars of value because that car is sold and owned by someone else and it's not on the dealership lot anymore. And so my thought on if you buy a new car, it's going to depreciate so fast that it's not really going to be worth paying that extra $10,000 premium for a new car. So what I would suggest that if you do need a car, I would recommend buying a used car. A used car can be just as good as a new car. Maybe it's a little bit older, 2 to 3 years. That's totally acceptable too. And it'll be a lot cheaper. And along with that too, another thought on buying a used car, and that might be a perk that you may not have thought about, is that a used car has been driven by someone else, which could mean historically that the car does work and function as intended, and it has mileage on it to prove that it is a functioning vehicle. And so that might be a small tip to help reduce costs and financial mistakes of buying a new car. Instead of having a monthly payment of, let's say, $300 per month for a new car that's depreciating at $3,000 a year, you can buy a used car, pay half the price, and basically still get to point A to point B in the same lifestyle. Number 2, living in an expensive place. So a lot of individuals, once they get a job or they see their income, most people think because their income increased, their lifestyle increased. And I recommend to maintain the lower lifestyle that you may have, especially in the beginning, because you can use those extra gains to invest and really change and multiply the amount of money you'll have in the future. So living at an expensive place does eat up into cost and opportunity for investments. Most people that have a location to live at, let's say a house or a rental property that they live in, about 25% of their income goes towards housing. And so I really want to bring home that if you can look at your debt to income ratio and have your housing below 25%, if you can challenge yourself, maybe have your housing at 15% of your income, and I'm talking after your taxes, to really lower that expense, you'll see that your bank account will grow a lot more and provide you with a lot more opportunity to have an emergency fund in case you don't have one already, and it'll provide you extra money to invest to, again, make more money down the road. Number 3, upgrading technology way too often. So I know every single year there's a new TV that's out, there's a new cell phone out, there's a new iPhone that's out, there's always new smartwatches, new computer parts, really just electronics in general. And I think this can be a big mistake in your financial moves and for your future if you continually buy a product that is always releasing every single year. Sure, it may be nice at times to upgrade, maybe every couple years you upgrade, or every now and then when things don't really work how you intend them to work, then you upgrade. But I think just the process of upgrading to upgrade is not really that smart financially. And another way too is that if you don't need the latest and greatest thing, why not buy something that's a year old? And typically the price will slash at least 25%, and you can get just as good of a product for way less. And so that's really just a small tip to saving money, is to not buy things that you don't need. And those yearly releases really do hit you. If you think about how many phones you may have bought in the past 5 years, think about how much money that's been, and then calculate what you could have done with that money, and then you'll quickly realize that, man, if I just had control, had discipline, I could use that money to invest in something else down the road and then see those potential future gains. Number 4, going out way too much. So I know going out is very social, and I think going out and having fun is definitely needed if that's your way to reset and just have fun. But I also think you should set a budget. It might be hard to think that going out once or twice a week doesn't really matter, but if you look at it at a larger standpoint of, let's say, a month out or 2 months out, and look at hundreds of dollars you've spent on going out to restaurants, that really does add up, because then you multiply it by the months and then by the years, and then you're like, wow, I spent over $3,000 going out to eat when I could have really spent maybe $800 making food at home. And so along with going out, as that is just expensive in general, buying drinks on top of that also does add up into the cost. I would recommend just getting water. Water is usually free when you go out to eat, and that should be sufficient. It's the cleanest thing you can get to hydrate yourself. It shouldn't cost anything, and if it is, maybe go somewhere else. But essentially water is free for the most part, and it's vital for the human body anyways. So hydrate on something that's not going to cost you money, it's healthy for you, and it's cheap. 5th thing, purchasing unnecessary clothing. So I know fashion has always been a big thing for a lot of people, but I think this can also be unnecessary and unneeded. Buying new clothes is just a depreciating item. If you take the receipt off of the clothes, it's basically worth like 10% of the value and is used now. So if you try to resell it, you're not going to get your value back. And as you wear it too, it's breaking down and you can only really get a few bucks for it, or maybe it has to be free and you just have to give it away. So paying that big premium tag for clothing that doesn't last that long, or is, you don't really need it, I would encourage you to avoid buying it at all. And I know clothing might think that it helps you look really good, and sometimes clothing does help, your self-esteem. So have a balance on whatever you need to just have a good baseline in your life. But I think it's not about what's in the clothes, but it's what's under the clothes. So if you can stay healthy, have a good positive mindset, continuously eat healthy and work out, I think your clothes will just look better in general because they fit better on you, and it makes you feel good that you're healthy and you wake up good, you have good sleep, you name it. There's just so many perks to going down this path of eating healthy and exercising and getting the proper sleep that you might spend your entire life learning about how to be healthy when you already knew from the start how to do it. It's just about taking action and actually making those things happen. Anyways, guys, those are my 5 tips on financial mistakes that most people make. They're very common. I think they can easily be changed. The housing one might take a little bit more, but it's better to at least think about it and then have a process on how to improve it. So then if your rental lease does go up, or you have a house and you think selling might be worth the option, I would consider looking into it. And so, as I said before and earlier in this video, I think the financial moves that you make now, they really do control and forecast how your life will be in the future. If you spend all your money now, you won't have any in the future. And I think if you practice investing now and using the extra money that you do have, you'll get really good at whatever strategy you're looking at, and you can multiply those gains over time. So then in 5 years or in 10 years, you'll have a much different life, and hopefully for the better. Alright guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching the Growth Mindset channel. Please do me a favor by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with one of your friends. Have a great day, guys. Bye.